Welcome. And you're looking back at the line. We've been in front of the line for a little bit.
I the tiger. I the
We're
lion.
used to our old podcast spot. Welcome back to another Ramblr Project podcast. We are.
You got the name right this time. Introduced
I
as
did.
Minesweep last time.
Yeah, just Matt Ravita and myself, Dan, today. And we haven't had this in a while. Kind of a good conversation. An episode for us to kind of get some stuff out that's on our mind. To start off by kind of talking about my relationship with physical issues, looping back to mental issues, looping back to everything from the stomach to breathing to the mind, and just kind of share my story in hopes that maybe someone else can kind of connect with it, or maybe my experience can help someone else. So first of all, I'm asking Matt how he's doing, because I usually, before I jump, because I'm going to go on a tangent.
I'm doing great. I want you to go on your tangent. I mean, I want to hear about the beautiful stomach issues they're having and the surgery coming up, because the surgery is major.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a few surgeries and kind of derailed my mental health after that. So it's interesting to see your perspective. And now that we're kind of more mature and learned how to, maintain and have good maintenance of our mental health, it's going to be huge for, your future next weeks and months coming up after recovery. So it'll be cool to see how you feel about that.
For sure, yeah. And for context, I'm having surgery to repair a torn hip labrum. So it's an issue I've had for a while. Usually, like, a torn hip labrum comes from playing sports 9 times out of 10, and that's the case with me where I injured mine. But a lot of the times it coincides with people who have extremely tight hips, people who are extremely tight. And that's someone who I've always been. I remember constantly pulling muscles, whether it be a shoulder, whether it be a quad, whether it be something in my back, just from being wound so tight and not learning about, just thinking that's the way I was, that it was hard for me to recover from working out and doing things like that. So that's where kind of the root of that surgery comes from, and it got misdiagnosed. And then I found out 2 years ago that, which is frustrating as well, but I found out 2 years ago that there is in fact a tear across the hip and it has to be surgically repaired on. In order to kind of improve the quality of life and do things like, which I can't do, like running and impact and squatting and things like that. So,
but didn't the doctor, like, throughout your journey of, like, you're trying to look after your physical mental health, and they say part of your anxiety was the cause, or like the root cause of, like, causing the tightness in your hips and things like that, and
100%,
that's kind of what's affected you now at almost 28 years old.
Yeah.
Affecting this, like, how? So take us through, like, how that's kind of going to affect you moving forward now. Like, how are you going to be able to control your anxiety so, like, type of injury doesn't happen again?
That's a really good, that's a good question. So how it originally started was I originally went to therapy just to fix the hip and groin, and just had a lot of pain, a lot of problems. I didn't really know what was going on. And I had a massive underlying issue with anxiety. This is like pre-Rambler project, pre-breaking point, which I've had, and like it's our first episode ever of this podcast sharing that experience. But so I won't dive into that. And I had a string of injuries that kind of led to the point where I also was given up with rehab with all these different physios, chiros, osteos, and I finally got recommended yoga. I went to yoga, and to do a quick Cole's notes, went to yoga and then realized, like, the mind-body connection through that, with syncing up your breath, deep breathing, slowing yourself down, allowing your muscles really to open up and to breathe. So, something that I was always go, go, go. And another point that I really wanted to share is, when we grow up, and this is like kind of a point leading to where I'm getting with this, is, we're always taught to be kind of the strongest, the fastest, the smartest. Growing up we both played like high level sports. It is, work out, get big, get faster, beat the opponent, get taller, get smarter. It's just go, 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 go. There's never any points in that journey to slow down. Whether you look at from a lens of someone who's trying to, like, push from that school to university to a career, or you look at someone who's trying to push, like, an athletic ability, you look at someone who's trying to, like, progress. It's how we're taught to chase, we're taught to build, we're taught to grow, everyone says push the needle forward. And I feel like I was one of the individuals that got lost in all that. Starting at a young age, I just wanted to work out and be faster, stronger, better. I wanted to get into the workforce right away, so I took a really quick college program that pushed me into the workforce, to make money, to start moving forward. And I started just chasing all these, like, benchmarks. And along the way, I just really got lost in who I was and learning to slow down. And with that came injury. With that came different illnesses. With that came, a mental breakdown. And I think, just circling back to where I'm going with this, is that it's something that I feel like a lot of people aren't taught, and I'm starting to see it. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people like lead to like whether it be physical or mental breaking points to start to realize like, okay, like I'm doing something wrong here. And some people just fix that problem, they go right back to their ways. So I don't know if you can attest to that too, but it's definitely how at least I was brought up is, to go and push and never to, slow down, breathe. Actually maybe even move backwards in some case, right? In order to build a stronger foundation for yourself, whatever it may be.
Yeah. So how are you gonna now change that mindset and adapt to kind of things you've learned throughout this after this next surgery? Because I mean, it's gonna be major surgery. Right? You're not gonna be probably not gonna be able to move around like you were, and that's gonna be almost the definition of actually slowing down and taking your recovery seriously, and not gonna be able to get up and go work out right away and be back to the old Dan, right away. But you have to be able to, I guess, tell yourself that this is for the betterment of yourself, right? So how is that new mind body connection gonna work now to this recovery?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I don't really, it's one of those things I don't think I have a choice. Like going back, I said at the beginning, like digestive issues. And even when I was aware about the stomach problems, like throughout COVID, the hip problems, I had like started having stomach issues, like digestive issues were just like things weren't working right. Like I don't have to dive into it, but to the point where I got a stomach x-ray and they're like, you have like in your intestines, like almost like by the stomach had like a buildup. And a lot of it was from like, just being so tense, so tight, eating food really quick, not breathing while eating, not letting my digestive system work. And I think in my case, like just anxious breathing, so chest breathing, neck breathing. When you breathe really shallow, you're not really like pushing air into those vital organs, which is your stomach. And some people naturally do it. They don't need to like actually take time to really focus on that. But individuals like me, like even how I'm talking right now, I forget to breathe. It's something that I experienced. And so you ask like, how's it going to change? It's like, I don't really have a choice. Like I have to make some sort of pivot and change if I want this to be the last surgery I ever have, something that's related to tightness. And otherwise I kind of wanted to open up the spectrum of like, it is crazy. Like people talk about it, but like I've had these past couple issues that, the mind and body is so deeply connected. Like people talk about the mind gut connection all the time. And, a lot, people don't talk about digestive issues, and I'd almost like put that on the same spectrum. People don't talk about mental health issues, and they do run so deep hand in hand. People, it's hard to digest food when you're panicking, you're in fight or flight mode. It's hard to, have your muscles it's hard to go to the gym. People say, oh, I'm going to let it out, go to the gym.
Yep.
If you're tense the whole time. So going back to answer your question, it's like, I don't think I have a choice. I think it's just, buying into, a rehab program that's heavily also revolved around breathing and meditation, and not just like pushing myself as hard as I can to get better and build the muscles all back up in my right side. So, like it's going to be a journey for sure, but I'm excited because I think it's going to turn a leaf that I can, move forward with. So
I think it's going to be good. I think sometimes we don't want to be pushed to the point where you're almost forced to do something, but I guess in this case, it's almost going to be a good lesson for you, because being forced to have this surgery, and like now you're treating it as if I don't want to have this surgery and be paying again. So like I have to listen to my body and learn how to adapt and properly actually rehab, not just jump back in trying to go back to work or trying to chase that next threshold. And I want to be the guy who can fast. I mean, I want to be the guy who recovers fastest, just because I want to be able to tell people, yeah, I did this in 3 months. And everyone said it'd only be 6 months, when like in reality, is that really the healthiest way to do that? You'd rather have long-term success than just short-term gain, just to tell people, yeah, I beat the odds.
Yeah. And like, I think I look at myself, and everybody said everyone's different, but it's one of those things, like there is like scientific evidence of like major health issues down the road from individuals who sustain high levels of stress for a long time, or put up with high levels of stress and anxiety and depression. It's like when you're always in that like tense fighting mode, and like I guess I've had some experience with that to like prove that with like my own body. But it's scary, but at the same time it should be also information for people to be like, okay, you're stressed and you're anxious and you're gonna wait till tomorrow. But it's one of those things, if you keep holding that energy and not working on it, that's gonna ultimately lead to some sort of illness. And people have these back pains and knee pains and stomach problems, and we all just treat those individual problems. And I think we're big advocates for mental health being health. It's like, I think you have to look at everything as a whole system. And when you have stomach issues, okay, well, what's your mental state? When you have mental issues, like, okay, what's your like body state? What's your like your stomach, your vitals, like how's everything doing? So anyways, that was just my quick rant. So yeah, surgery in 2 weeks, and we're gonna start building these blocks back up again. So
No, you're gonna absolutely kill it, brother, and I think everything's gonna turn out well, and then we'll work through it all together. You have the support in place; it'll be good.
that's it. You guys are my support. So maybe I'll be sitting here and ranting more because I won't be able to walk around for a while. So.
Exactly. You got to think of the positive. What can come out of this?
Yeah, I'll just
The
be yelling at a
outcomes.
microphone by myself. I breathed today. I
Yeah.
meditated. So, anyways, that's my quick rant. Right on.